How's it going? This is Steve Madrill with News on the Hour. Did you hear about that, Mr. Benson? Yes, the homos are splitting the Republicans apart. Learning to report the news here, be patient with me, and see how it goes.
We need to get out of here. Bring your mother too.
No.
Not if I stay here.
Catch me on Facebook, on the Yuma Daily Sun. I like to hear what some of you have had to say about our government. I basically think it's the voters that are really lazy. We need to get out there. We have 40,000 registered voters in Yuma, but only 10,000 vote. We wonder why we can't get things done in this town, and I will say this, it's because we're not unified. Now, having said that, I myself haven't voted for any Yuma town elections because you need to have at least 6,000 people in this town to get things done. Having, quote, saying that, if we don't get ourselves together, if we don't get the lazy guys out, let me turn this TV off here. If we do not get organized, learn our laws, if we do not agree to do what is voted, then our civilization as we know will come to an end. And what I mean by that is then we'll hear this continuing bickering. Every time we elect somebody, they tend to do what they want because of the lobbyists or people who put them in office. And it's as simple as that. Somebody gives you money, they help you get elected, they pay for the venue of, quote, media, which I plan to use YouTube, the online, as our Yuma Daily Sun offers the privilege of commenting, but you have to be careful of how we comment. I notice they keep on pointing out this hate speech. Well, you know what? You can say what you need to say with the education that we got. If you're on a GED level like I am, do not try to use fancy words. Do not try to, quote, blow smoke. In other words, if you're a PhD, you may speak as you are to people who are PhDs. If you are a GED, you need to speak to people who have GEDs. If you only have an 8th grade education, then you need to speak on an 8th grade education. It does no good for people with 8 education to talk to somebody who's on GED level. It does no good for GED level to talk to somebody 4-year college. And 4-year college in English, it's no good to talk with somebody that's got a master's degree. Now, I really think we can get things done if, first of all, we know what the laws are. If, for instance, we know our mayor and councilmen okay the project for our towns. Well, we need to say here, 24th needs to get done. How much money? How long? Who needs to get it done? The amount of time. Okay? We do not need to bicker. We need to, yes, of course, worry about the businesses along the way, along the streets. Therefore, having saying that, it doesn't take a month of Sundays to get it done. 2, when we say we work for the government, we need to realize the government does not own anybody a 20-year contract. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why we're going broke is because people have been milking it. For some reason, we say people get hooked on food stamps, and that'll be another subject another time. But let's talk about government jobs, government contracts, whether they're city, federal, state, local, county. People, we have gotten into a thing that when people do business with any of those entities, that they got it for the 10, 20 years. We have turned our government into a milk system that if you work for 20 years for any one of the entities, that we give them pensions that they do not pay for. Yes, granted, in times past, we had to raise the pay level, but now it's gone to the extreme left. You do not pay somebody more than what their job was getting paid for in pensions and retirement. You do not take the taxpayers' money and put into these people's retirement. They can do that themselves and they can run it. We have been running into this myth that if we do not pay them, somebody else will come along, steal their, quote, experience in business, and the private, well, you know what, the private sector is doing really bad at the moment. I do not see job offers, I do not see business. All it is we turned it in, how much money you can make today. Don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. You get in the federal government, they are protected, they have many laws protected. So when they milk the system, we, the taxpayer, end up suffering because we have to pay them. Okay? That's all there is to that on that. Next question. We have a problem in our nation right now about morals. Well, you know, our Constitution does not cover morals. It is what society itself does with its freedom. And when I talk about freedom, I'm talking about you can do what you want to do. Say after the age of 18, the gay issue comes up. Here, I'm sorry, the United States government, the reason why I firmly believe, as the government's only responsibility is from a science point of view. It takes one male, one female, produces one child. That's all there is to that. Okay, you can come up with arguments about dysfunctionality and this and that, but two males, healthy males, cannot produce an offspring. Two females cannot produce an offspring. End of that subject. Now, am I saying that because a man and woman has a child that they are qualified as good parents? No, we have child abuse, child neglection. We also have it where the man leaves the woman leaves the man. No, that's exactly what's going on. We need to face all the facts. What I'm saying is you get one healthy man, one healthy woman. they work, food for the children or child, let's say one child, and they raise that child, and our government says you need to educate that child, and that's what we provide, education for the child. Now I know we can go down from that scenario. Down from that scenario. And what I mean by that, yes, we have single parents, yes, gay couples have get a hold of children through whatever, because I'm going to tell you, this is the truth that's going to hurt. It's because, yes, a man and a woman can't neglect that child. They can abandon that child. And whatever the cause, whether it's, as they would call it, cheating on your spouse, abuse of your spouse, does not condone the fact. Yes, somebody's got to feed. Otherwise, we would have orphanages. Okay? Now we're getting into the freedom of speech and religion. No, you may speak what you want. You can believe what you want. In our country here, as long as you do not have sex with somebody under the age of 18, it's just consented. Is it right? From my point of view, it's not right. Okay? And well, this is a test run. I'm going to see what I did, and then we'll go from here. Thank you for it. I'm stopping in the middle of this to finish this movie, and we'll continue with the second. Okay, I'm going to be using YouTube as a venue. I'm going to be using the online paper as a venue. What I was talking about right now, the big issue is gay marriage. No such thing. The issue of, but it is just as wrong for them, being the most minority group of all. I am a minority. I am a Mexican. The color of skin, we had a problem treating people colors. That's always been it. We've had slavery. That has been it. We have had white slavery. That has been it. But you know what? Who you sleep with in this country, as long as you don't abide the rules, abide the laws of the country, it's not illegal to be immoral. Now, people want to speak about that. Look, if a man buys a loaf of bread and he's gay, I sell it to him. If he's single, I sell it to him. If he's cheating on his spouse, I sell it to him. When we do business, as I say, when we go to work, we do business, that's what it is. We do not look at what that person's background is, because here, if he's got cash, that's all I'm interested in. Now, yes, if a man comes in dressed as a dress, he can come in a dress. Any more than somebody coming in that has biker attire, like the motorcyclists. For instance, I will give credit due, and I'm not condoning evil, but if a Hell's Angels comes in, they do what they want to do. Now, when they clash with the law, that's a different story. He doesn't bother me, I don't bother him. They go on. You get into that culture and you get hurt, that is your problem. You got it. Okay? If they got a problem with kidnapping people, you shoot them. But if you go up to them and you want to preach the gospel, be ready to die, because they will probably shoot you. Okay? You leave them alone. That's all there is. I don't care what religion you want to preach. That's up to you, and we can hit freedom of speech. I don't have to condone your belief, and you don't have to condone with mine, but you know what? You go pay your rent, I pay my rent, and we don't have to speak to each other. That's what it means to live in peace. Okay? Now, we got issues with $17 trillion debt. Yes, we're going in debt. When our state of mind in this country that we don't want to steal pride, look, we pay more in welfare benefits than we do on a minimum wage job. We got a lot of things going on. Yes, we say you got the right to speak to somebody, to work for somebody, and they got a right to fire. You got the right to quit. The guy's got the right to hire you. Okay? Here's the problem. We have people who say, you come to work, I will work as hard as I can for you, because I expect a raise and more living. You know, the guy hires you. I've never yet to see somebody say, look, I'm going to hire you, and that's all I'm going to pay you for the next 30 years. No, I hear this, and this is where we need to have an agreement. If you go to work, if an employer hires somebody, and they say, okay, you dig a hole, I'll pay you this much. You dig a hole and fill it, and I'll pay you more. You dig a hole and fill it and put a plan in it, I'll pay you even more. If you go along, and what they're saying is the more experience you got, the more money, and this needs to be held accountable for the employer. An employer might say, you know, I might only be able to pay you this, but I'll give you an experience, and the day comes you can look for another job, because you're not going to make it. Or if you love your employer, you stay at that and you handle it. But sometimes when the housing crash, remember the housing stuff that crashed, the market? Well, sometimes having a low-paying job, but it's steady. And what you do, you be happy with what you got. Okay? Yes, I did not say you cannot go to school. I did not say you cannot, quote, as I've been told, collect beer cans if you want to buy a Harley. You say, but if you got a good paying job and you're making $100,000 and you're spending like you're making $150,000, don't be crying about, oh, Mr. Obama needs to get us a job. No, that was yours. If you're making $20,000 and you got 20 kids, well, you better learn how to eat beans 20 different ways. You want more? Well, you say more. You get your wife to work. You get your spouse to work. Okay? You tell your kids that has nothing to do. See, what I like about our school system, it used to be that all the kids, when we were teaching about society, when kids showed up in the classroom, everybody was going to learn, let's say, math. 1 and 1 is 2. It didn't matter if you were the sports star, and that's what I don't like about sports. Where in the world do we get off because they play sports, you're going to pay for a tutoring? 1, 2. If a kid's got a problem, where do we say we pay for a tutoring? There should be neither way. Whether you're too poor or whatever, or rich, and I'll tell you what, if you're rich, you need to shut your mouth. If you're poor, you need to shut your mouth. If you're at sports, you learn. You don't get no tutoring. That's extra. That's up to you. If you want to do it, fine. But